Thank you for stopping by, and I would ask you, please listen to this video all the way to the end. It's extremely important. We don't have a whole lot of people left that lived through the Depression. My grandmother was one of them. And when I was a young girl, I used to talk to her a lot about the Depression and how did they live, how did they survive, and what did they do. And they clung to their Bibles, that's for sure. But I never really thought there would happen again. And I used to tell my grandmother, well, that won't happen again. They've pretty much secured us so something like that couldn't happen. And my grandmother said, it will happen. And when it does, it will be far more devastating for you guys than it was for us. And I said, well, what do you mean, Grandma? How could it be far more devastating? We have a lot more technology and different things. When, the Depression happened, she didn't have that kind of stuff. And she said to me, because the morality of the people has already changed a great deal. And she says, and it will get far worse. Things that we would never thought of doing today, people are thinking of doing. More theft was going on even in my youth than in her day. There was more crimes, murders going on than her day. And it has become even far worse than it was back then. And it was far worse for us today than it was for them. And so when I think about what she said, it's true. A lot of things that they did would not work today because, look at the theft going on. People are just walking into stores, taking whatever they want, walking out. Nothing is happening to them. It's almost like immorality is protected. And if you have morality, they come after you. They don't want you around. And my grandmother warned me that that would happen. And she said, you're going to end up in this country as a third world country. You will have nothing. You will be controlled. And they will decide on everything in your life. She used to tell me this as a kid. It will be decided what you eat, where you go, what you do, everything, and even what you own. Who would have ever thought or heard of the day that they were considering getting rid of a gas stove or truck? We all know that trucks are for moving things, and gas stoves are far cheaper. And so I can see what my grandmother was talking about when I was younger. We have definitely become far more immoral. And we really don't care if what our position in life destroys someone else. We don't care. Have you ever watched people get up and they will just stand and scream in people's faces on the news? It's like something out of a nightmare movie. I'm sitting there going, what is going on? No, nobody would have ever showed that kind of a disrespect. I shouldn't say nobody. But in general, people never showed that kind of disrespect towards each other. If they had a different opinion than you did, you let it go and you walked away. But if you saw them broke down on the side of the road, you definitely stopped. You would stop and help them. You just would. Today you don't do that sort of thing. You're afraid to. You're afraid of what could happen to you. Now, why has man lost all this morality? Well, I hate to tell you this, but I shouldn't say I hate to tell you this, but most people are not going to admit to it. They no longer believe in a deity. They may believe in a deity, but not the unseen one. Because I think all people have a religion. Just some of them don't have a deity, an invisible one, but they do have a religion. And I believe that's what's happened. They've tossed away the Bible that my grandmother clung to and says it's not real. And with that, and in doing that, they made up whatever they wanted and decided that they would do whatever they wanted, no matter who it hurt or what business they put out. You know, take a look of all the businesses that they put out of business through theft, stealing. They hurt their own people in their own towns when the Walmarts closed down or the Aldi's closed down or Myers closed down because they can't stay in business due to all the theft. And so eventually you get to a point where there's nothing for anybody anymore. There just isn't. You become a ghost town. We have ghost towns in this country, and it's got a lot to do with things like that. People, immorality, stealing, companies moved out, and they no longer could support the people that lived in those towns, or they become extremely poor. Well, that's coming everywhere. See, when the people do away with a deity, what happens is man becomes that deity, government over you. Look at every country that's doing, really bad. Look at Venezuela, look at Cuba. They have somebody that lords over them like a god. You don't think and believe in a god, but they have a god. And he tells them everything. He has taken everything from them. They have no rights. They know nothing. Don't speak against the God. It could be death for you if you do, or prison forever. Well, that's what's coming here. Because people have done away with God. And so you won't have anything. A couple eggs a week. They will control what you can eat, what you can have, where you can go. I don't know what else to say to you. Put away what you can so that you can live a similar type life of what you become used to. Because they eventually are going to take it where you're going to run out. Unless you're old like me, if you're young, you're going to run out of anything you may have put away eventually. And they'll be able to get control of you. But I don't have that much longer to go. And in saying that, I'm going to say this. All my life, I have believed in God, then, in the beginning I didn't. And then later I did. And in closing this, I'm going to say, my life was far better when I did believe in God. Things became easier for me. Prayers were answered. I got solutions to situations. And that didn't happen for me when I didn't believe. And so it really cemented my belief in God. But I will say this. If I die and there is no God, well, who cares? I'm dead. I'll never know. Never. But if there is a God and hell is real, then a whole lot of people are going to have hell to pay. But I won't. So I think either way it balances out for me, because in this life, my life is far better because I believe. Because like I said, I've lived both. I've lived not believing at all. But I can say, because I do believe, my life has been far superior. And so in the end, I won't have hell to pay. If there is a God. And if there isn't, who cares? I'm dead. I'm in the ground and I will never, ever know that there isn't a God. Because I'm long gone and dead. But keep putting some food away. And try to help yourself for as long as you possibly can. As long as possible. But the day is coming that you will run out. And they will have the control and you won't. And you will eat what you're told.